Suppose one day you wake up and you had the power to see through walls and conjure anything out of thin air. You'd be able to accomplish feats such as creating beautiful pieces of architecture, revisiting life in the ancient Forbidden City, or seeing exactly where your AirPods are in a pile of clothing. These aren't just some random imaginations, but a superpower that engineers and scientists are working to give each of us who might want it. Augmented reality, or AR for short, is a quickly growing field, not to be confused with virtual reality or VR, that allows us to see and interact with virtual objects placed in the real world rather than interacting with an all-virtual world. In this video, I will contrast the differences between AR and VR, visualize how AR goggles work, and showcase current AR applications in medicine. While there are many similarities in how AR and VR create virtual objects, AR and VR present vastly different interactions of enhancing our real-world experience, contrasting to immersing us in a completely different virtual world. You might have heard of companies' visions for metaverse, whereby we live our digital lives totally immersed in a virtual 3D world, or you might have seen dystopian visions of Ready Player One, where we escape the sadder realities into a digital world of crazy games and luxuries. These medias often portray what is known as virtual reality. While VR is also a rapidly maturing field with many good and bad potential impacts, they are a very different experience to AR. If we were standing in front of a street like this one, VR would take the real world and remove any trace of it, and build a virtual 3D world from scratch. A 3D real world where you can move around and interact with virtual 3D objects or avatar of individuals. However, AR takes the real world like this one and augments the world by adding information and relevant 3D virtual objects that appear as they though exist in real life. This difference between AR and VR changes the experience we can have in each. While VR has proven its potential to create immersive experiences not possible in the real world, such as swinging through the world like Spider-Man, by presenting real and virtual objects together, AR has proven to present valuable information and interactions associated with the real world around us to enhance our experience within that physical world. We have not seen AR break into mainstream consumer tech the same way that VR games have. You may have experienced that Pokemon Go, where you see Pokemons as though they are in the real world, or have experience with filters that let you change your appearance. The limitations in its adoption has been in part due to the challenge of creating this hardware that let you interact naturally with the AR rather than looking through a small iPhone screen. However, engineers and researchers are trying to make the world AR experience seamless with these AR glasses. To enable comfortable and immersive and mobile AR experiences, companies are racing to create AR goggles that directly project images into our field of vision. Here's a state-of-the-art AR goggle from Microsoft called HoloLens. This pair of bulky goggles has many new technologies that create these virtual objects that you might see in the real world. I'll walk through how each of these hardware and software components work on a higher level so we can better understand the challenges, limitations, and potential of this hardware and software. Firstly, how does the goggle get the image in front of your eyes so that you can see it? The goggle needs a transparent display that puts images in front of your eyes without blocking that view. This means that AR goggles can't rely on traditional displays that are on computers, as they rely on a wall of tiny pixels that can be lit up. So alternatively, many rely on new technologies to display images that redirect to your eyes. One such is a MEMS laser display. These displays project color lasers out that are then reflected with oscillating mirrors to spread the image horizontally, and then reflected on another mirror to spread the image vertically. This image is then directed into a waveguide, or the lens, like this one, and the waveguide is the lens in front of the eyes that guide the light at a proper angle so the image is in focus in front of your eyes. The light bounces millions of times in the lens before tiny microscopic ridges redirect the light at that specific angle in order to present the image. However, displays still need to know where to place these 3D objects on the 2D display. To do this, the goggles understand where you are in the world So when you move, it places the 2D object where they would be as if they were 3D objects. It uses time of flight or TOF depth sensors that measure how far lights are from the goggle by how long it takes for light to travel to and from the objects. These sensors allow goggles to create 3D representations of the world called a mesh. The goggles then use sensors like accelerometers to detect how users' heads are oriented so they know what's directly in front of the user and what to display on the 2D display. There are many challenges to create this technology. First is the device needs to process a lot of information from the sensor and a lot to create 3D images. This requires a powerful device that needs a lot of power right now. This means a big, heavy, and hot device on your head, which is not something you want on your head all the time. So companies are working to improve the make device more comfortable, mobile, and accessible, which requires a lot of improvements in computer chips. Additionally, manufacturing these displays require precision smaller than viruses, and so the research and precision manufacturing means that it needs a high price and limits how much field of view you can display, which basically is how much of your real field of view, your vision, is taken up by this display. However, even with limitations of our current technology, there have been many that have been able to put this technology to use to increase their productivity. The rise of personal computing previously put a world of information in our homes, in our pockets. It improved many of our job experiences enhanced by these digital aids. However, many are unable to take advantage of this technology. For example, frontline workers, like factory workers, mechanics, and doctors who interact physically with machinery, and customers and patients were not able to take advantage of the technology since they had to use their hands to perform their jobs or to focus their attention on the real world. And AR has the unique potential to bring visual information to increase their productivity and save lives. Doctors have been able to apply this technology to surgeries. They perform vascular flap surgeries, which move tissues from one part of the body to another in order to repair that body part. Surgeons must identify the locations of body parts while performing repair surgery in the lower body to move tissue from a donor part of the body to the recipient part of the body while keeping the blood vessels intact and aligned. This means that blood vessels between the body parts need to line up perfectly. Accurate identification of these blood vessels are of paramount importance to perform these vascular flaps. These errors could have hugely detrimental effects. They have shown that CT scans help visualize vessels and decide on suitable transplant in order to reduce the operation and improve success rate. The projection of these CT data has been shown to improve accuracy to identify suitable blood vessels in order to use for replacement and helping surgery patient outcomes. However, with the existing technology that they have, surgeons have had difficulty transferring that information that they got from the imaging into a usable form that they can have during operations. They require a lot of time and mental energy to examine before the surgery and triangulate during the operation on the patient's body without having a sense of depth of where these blood vessels and tissues are. So this could lead to potential errors. This is where AR comes in. It helps simplify and improve accuracy of these procedures that reduce anesthetic time and bad outcomes while not requiring any additional physical complexity. The surgery performed 5 vascular flaps aided with AR goggles 3D visualizations. This new approach was concluded to be less time-consuming than the traditional methods. Other limitations included additional streamlining of AR image preparation and the fact that they needed technical assistance during the surgery. And further work is needed to automate aligning the model to the body and correct the body when the body tissues are deformed. This example demonstrates a great use of the technology and the potential it has to change a much less technically involved area of the industry. Many more examples across industries such as machine maintenance and airplane wiring are also being used, and it has the potential to move into consumers the way that PC started with work and moved into consumer technology. There have been pushes to use AR in navigation in order to help drivers focus attention on the road and reduce accidents. and also to visualize furniture interior spaces before you should even buy the furniture. And it has been proposed to improve education on abstract scientific phenomenon. In conclusion, AR is a new way of interacting with virtual and real-world information together, and it has been demonstrated in the field of surgery and many others. While it has limitations, as complex technology need to become more mobile, immersive, and accessible, it has the potential to transform ways frontline workers do their job, as well as how we go about our everyday tasks. I hope this video helped you understand the technology more, and as more technology and products within AR are brought to market, I hope you can understand their limitations and how they might improve your life.